All right, we're back. So now we're going to do the rump. So we've worked our way down rib, sirloin, T-bones, back to the back of the animal. So this is a bigger cut, made up of a few different muscles. A personal favourite of mine, especially when it's been really well aged on the bone, it can take on like a slightly awfully strong livery taste almost. It's also a price point down from the sirloin and the ribeye as well. That doesn't mean it's any less good. That just means that's not arguably underappreciated. So Chris coming straight through. Great work, mate. Very good with your hands.
Yeah.
So then you can see that kind of looks like a massive T-bone, and that's because if you pop that side up on a set, you can see that's a T-bone, and then on this side is the rump, and that's what coming out of here is what will be the Chateaubriand. So really, this piece of meat here is going to eat exactly like this piece here, wouldn't you say? Pretty close, until it runs on a little further. But this we're selling at rump price, and that's sirloin price. It's quite an arbitrary thing. And so that's a little sneaky tip if you're in a butcher and you want a slice of rump. After your back end, your sirloin end, you're going to get something a little tenderer, but it's not got quite the shape and conformation. So magically, here is one we prepared earlier. Go to work on it, go for your life. So that's what it looks like when it's off the bone, and that's what Chris is working towards at quite a pace. So you see at this end, which is further away from the sirloin, it's bigger and wider, and then it tapers into the sirloin as it runs along here. This is the one that we prepared earlier so we could eat it, just to make sure it was okay. So what Chris is doing is taking the rump off the H bone, A-I-T-C-H, which is not easy butchery. You can see he's working his way around the angles, being careful not to stab himself. And this is really where the art of butchery comes in. It's something we do in store all the time. We really want to share with you guys that this is the skill of the business, I guess. It's not all as easy as just finding fantastic farmers, opening shops and finding great customers. Like you guys, is like a real skill to it. And I think the Aussie guys that we have in the business, Chris, Dan, guys who've been here before, who've gone through full apprenticeships, really bring that knowledge to each team that they're in. I mean, that's pretty fast, clean work.
A little bit rough, but
well, you're under pressure. Don't worry. Is that sweat or is that
a little
bit of Wagyu grease?
It might be both.
Grand. So if you want to tidy that up and we'll get it to ready to roll. So you can cut a rump in lots of different ways. This time we're just going to cut it as really big, wide-faced steaks. So great for tagliata, great for sharing. But the rump consists of various muscles which you can make into roasting cuts. You can take the cap across the top, and that's called the picanha, which in South American cooking, if you've ever been to like one of those Brazilian all-you-can-eat churrascarias, you're going to find that is really highly prized. It's got lots of marbling, lots of fat. It needs to be cut thin across the grain, and it's a great eating steak as well. But we're going for traditional British decut rump, which all the muscles combined still eat fantastically well. Now, something I think we mentioned before when we were advertising this is that we spoke to Olivia, who's the assistant manager in Queen's Park. Just look over Chris there, on that side, who's also a sommelier, and she gave us some tips, which I'm sure we'll be uploading, as to what wines make a great choice to go specifically with Wagyu, but also just with steak in general. Graham, do you want to cut some steaks?
Cut a few, yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe not weighing this time.
No, we won't wait this time. I'm just going to check Olivia's work because I can't remember, and she suggests a perfect wine for this evening is a structured wine with full body, moderate tannins, and alcohol to dry out a little bit of the succulence, some acidity to cut through the greasiness and bring it all back to a nice softness with a lingering sensation to match one of our beautiful Wagyu steaks. Thank you, Olivia. We have a bottle of Barbera here, some Italian, but anything else would work, like a Shiraz or what else did Olivia suggest? Argentinian Malbec, Cabernet Sauvignon, those are three of the good break profiles that will work really well with that. And that, for me, having a bit of acidity to cut through the richness is really important. And it doesn't have to be a red wine. That's another thing Olivia said. I quite like a dry Prosecco, go really well with it, and other white wines as well, nothing too sweet. So back to the meat. As you can see, considerably less marbling on this, and that's just the way that rump generally is. It's not such a high marbling steak, it's still got loads of tenderness to it and loads of flavour. Don't be put off by the fact there's a bit more red than white. I'd say this can be eaten really, really rare, similar to the fillet as well. You just want to get a hard sear on the outside with this, so get a really good crust. And that's going to give you the umami hit. So to crust that layer up, get your pan screaming hot, and get the steak in there. Hold it down if you need to, so it stays flat. And obviously, you don't want to burn it, but you want to caramelize some of the sugars that are naturally occurring in the protein. And that, if we're going to get technical about it, Chris, it is called the Maillard reaction. And what you've got there is sugars inside the proteins are caramelizing, and that caramelization, when you taste it, that stimulates the part of your tongue that recognizes umami, and umami is the fifth taste. So you've got the other four that we normally know about. The fifth taste, umami, was found by some Japanese scientists, I want to say in the 80s. I could be wrong, call me out on it, and put a comment if you know exactly when it was. But that's what you find in soy, in gravy, in fish sauce, those sort of things. That sort of like savory, mouth-filling, satisfying flavor that you get from a really well-cooked steak. So we'll weigh these up. There are going to be a few monsters in here, but they'll be on the website shortly and ready for sale.